41 candidate. I am a write-in candidate against Chris Holden. I'm a father, I'm a neighbor, I'm a friend, I'm a co-parent, but what I'm not is a politician. My area runs from the 15 freeway along the 210 out to Pasadena. It's an honor for me to be here tonight, and I look forward to having a good, frank discussion with you all.
Can you give it up, Nathan, please?
Great, yeah, so number one, I need to defend our children. All right, so there is specifically something very sick and evil going on out there that they want to attack the children, the babies, and it's wrong. And I will defend and fight for them up there. And thank you. And our parents. So the power needs to go back to the parents.
Yep. Yes.
The school system is so far away from education, it's indoctrination, right? We have sex indoctrination. Disgusting. Already, I've talked to some parents tonight. It's in the 5th grade levels. It's already in our schools. We have gender neutral restrooms, which my opponent voted yes on. Every just indecent thing that's gonna corrupt the most innocent human beings on this earth, they're doing that for a reason, right? They're gonna attack our children, our future generations, because they're not looking at today or tomorrow or what's going on. They're gonna attack our kids, and they're doing it right now. And so I will defend them. I will write legislation that's gonna protect them and repeal anything that I can as well. But the children is my number one priority up there. Again, I have a 1-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, a few short years from being in school, if I ever put them in that school. But I hope I can be that change that allows us to be the number one in education again. Right now, California is the lowest in academics. And why? Because they're just pushing ideology. Right? And that needs to go. So I will defend our children up there in Sacramento. That's step one.
Thank you.
I'm a candidate for State Assembly of the 56th District, which covers Walnut, Diamond Bar, Rowland Heights, Hacienda Heights, La Habra Heights, Avocado Heights, La Puente, Industry, Whittier, South El Monte, and Pico Rivera. And I'm excited to be running and to be in this race, and I hope all of you guys can get to know me and see that I have a heart to make California better. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Cargile, and I'm running for Congress in the 35th District, which is basically Pomona, Chino, Ontario, Montclair. I have some Upland and Rancho, and I have Fontana, and I have some Chino Hills and Eastvale as well. It's the greatest district in California, and I'm so pleased to be running for this district. And my opponent is the opposite of everything I stand for. I am pro-God, pro-family, pro-life, pro-jobs, pro-police, always America first. And I just think it's an honor to be here with these wonderful people and all of you as we celebrate the greatest event in the United States, and that's the elections.
Our civil liberties, our freedoms sort of taken away from us for the last 2+ years. Through co-founding my medical advocacy group, I've been railing against against masking and mandates and anything that basically prevents our free movement in society. So, you know, it was only a natural progression that I myself take a sort of a one step further into the fray, and I decided to run because I'm so passionate about protecting our rights as Americans. I'm so passionate about our medical sovereignty, our choice to choose what goes into our body, our ability to work. You know, liberty is our choices. It's free from restriction. And so, you know, it was really important to me because I'm trying to raise 2 small boys, 2 men that will grow up in this society. And I'm taking a stand now so that we'll still have an America where my children will still be able to. And that's the most important thing for me, is protecting our rights as citizens.
The way to combat this is through election integrity. There's a lot of ways to fight this. Predominantly, though, we have to have people vote in person. They surrender their mail-in ballot. They get an original ballot, not a provisional ballot. You want one that doesn't have a QR code that you fill out with your ballpoint pen, not a Sharpie, because it bleeds between the lines, and they'll remake it, and they don't want us to see the remake process. So you get an original ballot, fill it out with your ballpoint pen, and put it in the box with your hands. No one else touches it, it doesn't go in any envelopes, and it's not folded. That is the one guarantee you have that your vote will be counted. From there, we place ourselves in God's hands and pray for the best.
California goes, so does the rest of the United States in eventuality. You know, the most important position, other than the governor, is going to be Secretary of State, who I endorse is Rachel Hamm. She's the only candidate that's actually talking about vocally up and down the state election integrity. You know, what I've been telling people to do is much like Mike and Natasha said, was we go out there, we vote as early as possible. Voting opens for California on the 28th. Vote as early as you can. That way it prevents whomever from cheating, because if you've already cast your vote, they're not going to be able to do anything else with your name. So I encourage you all to get out there, find your polling places within this area that will allow you to vote early. I also encourage you to get involved, become a poll watcher, because when you have good Republican men and women of faith out there, it discourages anyone else from doing something wicked. So I encourage you to get out there, be present in these polling places, do your job as a citizen, right? It is your civic duty to get out there and watch these people to prevent them from cheating again like they have in, you know, every other election leading up to this. So that's about it.
Well, abortion is murder. Let's get that straight. It's life from the womb to the tomb. And as a federal legislator, I'm bound under this Constitution to protect the lives of the American citizen. Then the question becomes, when did you become a citizen of the United States? The issue is personhood. When did you become a person of the United States? When you were a teenager? When you were a toddler? When you were in your mom's womb? When were you a person? And we as a people must err on protecting the lives of the people of the United States. And if we're going to make a mistake in this, we should protect life too much and not enough. Roe v. Wade was improperly decided, as you said. It's a state issue, it's not a federal issue. But if it were a federal issue, the first thing we would want is a national heartbeat bill as a very minimum. You know, when a person dies in the operating room and they determine the time of your death, it's the last beat of your heart. Well, why don't we use that same measurement for the beginning of your life? If that's the measurement for the end, let's use it from the beginning. But again, if we're going to protect the people of the United States, let's protect them as far back as we can, and that is the moment of conception. When you sit under the Constitution of the United States and all of its protections.
You know, for a majority of my adult life, I have given a voice to the voiceless, whether that be as a police officer in investigating crimes, and a good portion of my career has been investigating juvenile crimes and things of that nature. But even before that, I worked for a district attorney's office where I was investigating sex crimes with regards to the church. And so, you know, I've given a voice to the voiceless, and I'll continue to do that, given the opportunity. Smashing a bald eagle egg, right? There are laws against smashing a turtle egg. Why? Because it contains a baby turtle or baby egg. But when you remove with such ferocious, I don't even know the word for it, but when you remove a child from inside of the mother, there's no laws that protect them currently. I don't, like Mike had stipulated, like Mike had said, you know, I don't agree with the way that Roe v. Wade was decided 50 years ago. You know, and as it turns out, the woman who was responsible for bringing that case, she has come out and said that, number one, she never aborted that baby, and number two, that she was approached and given money to say that stuff. So everything that you know, basically fraud invalidates all of that. And it was a gigantic fraud perpetrated upon the United States of America for the last 50 years. So, given the opportunity to go up to Sacramento, I definitely would sponsor, I would work with, I would go across the aisle, I would work with anyone, right? Because one of the most important things for this class of candidates that get elected and go into Sacramento this year, we're like a scout sniper patrol. We're laying the groundwork for 24, 26, 28. We have to get that groundwork in first so we can get rid of these ridiculous bills that are just clogging our system and ruining the state. So I'm looking forward to working with like-minded individuals, such as the people at this table, to get legislation moving forward on that stuff. So,
Thank you.
of that speaks really important to me. You know, I myself had an incident where I fell out of favor with the Roman Catholic Church, and I chose as a young adult not to go back to it based off of the things that I was seeing in my previous statement with regards to the Archdiocese of Boston. But that being said, again, I have these two beautiful souls that I'm responsible for. Every day I look at them, I look inside their eyes, and I see inside their hearts. And I see a reflection of the most perfect beings that God has ever created. And I accept that and I acknowledge that. It's actually almost bringing me to tears right now. You know, we have lost something very important in this country, and that is the value system. The values that God and the Bible have taught us. We are lacking we are lacking strength in men in this country, men of faith. We are lacking it. We need a return to those Judeo-Christian values. We need to be flipping tables in a temple right now. Our churches should have never closed because it just allowed them to take governance over our lives. We need strong men of faith, like the men I'm sitting in front of and sitting with, to retake what this country was founded upon. You know, if you are willing to abandon your principles, right, for convenience, if you're willing to abandon your principles for social acceptability, they're not principles. It's a costume, right? The man that I am now, I will continue to be that man because I live my life how God would want me to. I see the beauty in the surroundings, going outside and walking in nature. That is God's original church to me. And I just try to be the best person that I can be, to be a reflection of the most perfect beings that was created. And as a thank you to the love that was created me. So I don't know if that answers your question entirely, but that's from the heart.
Humbling, and it's an honor to be here. The most important thing I can do in office would be to fix our election system, because out of the fraudulent elections, we have people making laws that we didn't elect, and they're making laws that we wouldn't accept. The whole system of our country is built on a Republican form of government where I get to choose who represents me, and they represent the values that I sent them into office for. And if that system is broken, then we are not represented, and the people who are running this are not representing our values, our traditions, our morals. So I think if we can fix the elections, then we fix a whole host of other ills and problems in this country. And if I could be part of that, I would be blessed beyond words.
Agreed.
Natasha, we're going to do next.
That was a good one. I can't copy it. Thank you, like I said, thank you now. Honestly, an honor to be here. So one thing, if I could fix one thing, I would probably say I would do everything I can to protect the family values, the tradition. That goes beyond anything, from the education system to the mandates, to the parents, going back to the ones that are actually educating and training their children, not the government, to the baby in the womb, bringing Judeo-Christian values back, putting our flag and our Pledge of Allegiance back into schools. I mean, just the family values, to really fight for that and bring that again, because the current officials know that the way to get at us is destroying family. And the family is the strongest tie we have. So I will do everything I can to preserve that.
Mike, you go too?
No, there's a lot to work on. One of my biggest things right now, obviously, with where I come from and what I've done prior, you know, I think it's safe to say that of the 15 bad bills that are going through the legislature right now, there's going to be a good handful of them that are going to pass. My first duty is to get out there and try to get those bills gone. First thing, gone. Start writing legislation. Hopefully we've got a great governor that comes in and is willing to work with us as well. But those bad bills, the AB 2223, I'm afraid of AB 1464, which would be the law enforcement, having to listen to the health authorities, but also I would really, we're 820 some odd days into a unilateral state of emergency. This despot that we have up in Sacramento right now has unlimited power. He's like Emperor Palpatine, and he's not willing to give up these powers, right? It's power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's exactly what we're seeing up there. I would definitely want to get up there and start writing legislation that restricts the usage of emergency powers by the governor. As I understand it, as I read it, an emergency has to be reviewed every 7 days. We're 800 plus days into this unilateral emergency act. It has to be reviewed so that it never happens again. And that's two of the things that I would get up there and do first.
We just want to thank all you guys. We pray for you guys all in your race. We pray for all you guys in your elections. And we pray for California. God bless you all, and God bless the kids.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.